Hey going guys, this is OP. I'm back for another Cane Draft VOD. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, and I've just picked myself up a new mic after my other one broke, so I can actually do some sort of commentary to anything I want now. And you know, it feels good to be able to actually do something again. So we're gonna open up our little overlay and see who we got. We've got Unleashed. Of course, he's pretty much in every replay that anyone ever VODs. He's in the north position playing Steel Talons as orange. And we'll jump down the south here. We've got Dyszel playing Reaper, and he is in the south, obviously. So I haven't actually seen this replay yet, so I have no idea how it goes. Unleashed uploaded it, so I'm just going to assume that he was the one that won. I don't know that, of course, but just an assumption. So as we can see, we got one assimilator coming out for Dyszel and quite a number of buzzers. I think that's about 4 on the one side and 1 going to the other spike, and both players are actually heading to the same spike. So Unleashed has got 1 combat engineer out, and he's also got quite a few squads of riflemen. They're 4 altogether. 1's already gone down, and he's going to have 3 to combat the rest of these. But the buzzers get in, they take down 2, and engineer is actually lost by Unleashed, so very unfortunate there for him. And that's going to allow Dyszel to get his assimilator into the spike once he actually decides to move it. If we pop over to the other spike, absolutely no contest. Dyszel has checked it out with his buzzer, and then he's whacked off to the other spike to try. And actually, no, he's going to head straight back up to Unleash's base to get some scouting information. Unleashed, with those riflemen being killed, doesn't actually have anything to scout at the moment, but I would expect a pitbull to be coming out of this war factory to possibly scout. Now, Unleashed is Steel Talons, so it is going to be pretty hard for him to get over Dyszel because Dyszel is Reaper, and Reaper fares pretty damn well against Steel Talons. You're going to have to play pretty well to be able to beat that. And Unleashed hasn't actually gone for a pitbull, so he's not going to have any scouting information at all. He's going to be going straight for his economy, and that is going to be tough since he actually lost that first engineer. And I mean, in Cane Draft, losing an engineer, it is a big deal. That's a whole $500 down the drain. It does put you a fair way back in the starting of the game. And we see a 3rd harvester out for Unleashed. Barracks going back up. I suspect that he's going to be trying to recapture that spike because he doesn't want to just let Dyszel have free money. If we scoot down to the south, we can see Dyszel's on 3 harvesters, 2 refineries, so he's pretty much on the same footing as Unleashed, except the fact that Unleashed still has 3 harvesters, but only 1 of the refineries. So I would say that Dyszel is still ahead here. And he's actually pumping out some seekers, if I see correctly. Yes, there's 1 up here. That's a buzzer. I thought it might have been a seeker from looking at the minimap, but 1, and it's going to be the second one coming along. So just 2. I'm not sure why he actually went out and got 2 seekers. I didn't really think it was necessary. He could have just kept pumping his harvesters. I'm not too sure why he went for that. And Unleashed, surprisingly, still only on the 1 refinery, so he's having trouble getting that second one up. But we can see on the MCV there, it is quite close, and it'll pop down around here, I believe. And any second now. No, we were a bit late on there. So if we come over here, we can see some action. A Seeker getting taken down by a Pitbull and a Rifleman squad that are quite surprising. Oh, and a Wolverine there as well. That would be why. And there's a 2nd refinery for Unleashed. And he's got 4 harvesters now. We're still looking for the 5th. Dyszel has managed to get his 5th out, so Dyszel is ahead here. He's got more units as well, 5 Seekers out on the field, whereas Unleashed only has a couple of Pitbulls and the single Wolverine. Unleashed actually, he got to capture that spike there. If I was him, I probably would have actually gone for the east spike. The west spike, because he only would have just captured and started getting the $10 every second there. Whereas if he captured this, he would have got the 500 back from his engineer as well. So probably would have been a bit more beneficial. This far into the game, though, I don't really think it's going to matter too much. So Unleashed can escape with that without any harm really being done. And we've seen Unleashed expand over to the west. Looks like Dyszel's done exactly the same, spending to the east, and we've seen a nerve center go down, and we actually see the gravity stabilizer, which is going to enable him to produce some Storm Riders. And Unleashed, let's take a look at his vision and see if he's seen anything. He has, in fact, no, sorry, the game was just a little slow on updating. He has not seen the expansion here at all. If we pop over to Dyszel and have a look, Dyszel hasn't seen the expansion here at all, so both players are probably just assuming that they've expanded and whatnot, but they don't really know for absolute sure. There's 3 Storm Riders out at the moment, the 4th one going to be coming along. Dyszel popping down a power plant to get himself out of low power And Unleashed, surprisingly, still only on... Oh, sorry, I thought he was only on 4 harvesters. But you got the 5th one over at the expansion. If we take a look at Dyszel, he's got 2 at the expansion and 4 at the main. So that's 6 for him, 5 for Unleashed, so he's a little tiny bit ahead in the economy. We can actually see a second gravity stabilizer going down for Dyszel, so that's going to give him 8 Storm Riders once he starts pumping those out there. And we've also still got a small group of Seekers, and over here we have some Disintegrators, but they've been spotted by the Pitbulls, so very nice awareness there from Unleashed, just having his units scout around the map, try and see any sneak attacks like this, and he's going to be able to stop that relatively easily. Just pop up a couple of Watchtowers, maybe get a Wolverine or 2 in there, and that'll be just completely demolished, and nothing. It's not going to really serve any purpose. So if we take a look at the economy still, we don't have a second refinery at the expansion for Dyszel. We do have a second one at the expansion for Unleashed though, so Unleashed is probably still ahead there now because he's got that second refinery up. But these Storm Riders here are really, really worrying to me because Unleashed still hasn't seen them, and it's going to be quite a problem because, I mean, he has got some Pitbulls out, but not too many. If we take a look at his refinery, he's starting to pump some Titans out here. Whereas Dyszel switched over to Devourers, which is actually gonna fare pretty nicely because Devourers are pretty strong against any form of armored thing ever, really. I mean, they can take out mammoths, they can take out tripods. In numbers, of course, you have to have quite a lot of them, and they do also have the advantage of using the beam, the Tiberium conversion beam is called, Tiberium, where they suck up the Tiberium and put it up. But here we go, we can see the Storm Riders coming out, so Unleashed is going to go, these are out now, and they're just picking off the standalone units in the middle. They're going to come straight up to the front here, they're going to go for Harvesters. There we are, they're starting to pick off the Harvesters, one going down to about half health, one goes down, but Unleashed very, very quick getting the AA battery up there. He's also got 1 Pitbull out, and here we go, 2 Harvesters have gone down, and it looks like Dyszel is just going to completely ignore the defense from Unleashed and just keep going for Harvesters. It looks like he's even committed to this to losing every single one of his Storm Riders. He's taken down 3, a 4th one is about halfway health, and will that 4th? Yes, the 4th one goes down, so that's 4 down for Unleashed. That is very, very costly to Unleashed, but we can't disregard the fact that that would have cost Dyszel quite a bit of money to chuck up those 2 gravity stabilizers and get out 8 Storm Riders. Actually sold off those 2 gravity stabilizers there, so he's realized that continuing to go air really isn't going to cut it because Unleashed is going to be prepared for it. And we actually see tier 3 down from Dyszel as well, and Unleashed is coming down the west side of the map with a fairly good group of Pitbulls, and they're going to be able to take out some Harvesters perhaps, but Unleashed has actually got, Dyszel's actually got Reaper tripods out, and he's not even going to try and suck up any Tiberium. I'd always try and do that if I could. But there's the tier 2 from Unleashed. He's still lacking in the tech, not tier 3. So Dyszel's clearly ahead there, and he's actually starting to produce some Shock Troopers. Not the best choice, I don't think. Reaper is not really good for their infantry side of things. They're rather weak. They are really more a ground-based sort of faction. But 2 Reaper tripods out now, so that's going to cause some trouble for these Pitbulls, but luckily the Pitbulls have got mobility on their side and they're able to outrun them. And they should come over to this side. He'll be met by some Shock Troopers, but I believe he can just skim straight past them, but looks like Unleashed is going to take the road straight back home, and he's going to continue to build his economy, try and get some units out. So Titan's coming out from his second war factory. Actually sold off the first one. I'm curious as to why he would sell that first one. He could go for some sort of 2 war factory. I mean, he's got, I guess he only has 4 Harvesters. Not really enough to sustain. 5th one over here, but he's actually mining a dead field, so we'll just count it as 4. Not really enough to sort of support 2 war factories. He's going to have at least 5, and even then it's treading it a bit close. You're only just able to get in without producing structures. So looks like Dyszel's coming up the east side of the map here. He's got 6 Shock Troopers. Is he continuing to... No, he sold off the portal actually, and he's going to put down a Warp Chasm and going for that Hexapod, I believe. And it looks like he probably would have got quite a few Reaper tripods. That's 3 there. He's got a few Seekers and a few Shardwalkers. A relatively small army, but with those Reaper tripods, they're actually able to take out quite a lot because of their... I mean, they can get that EMP, they can even crush the Titans, so if he can get up close and personal with those Titans, this is going to work out well for Dyszel, but it could go either way. And here we go, we're going to have the engagement. And the Titans are coming up with their range, and they're going to shoot down these Shardwalkers before they're able to take down the infantry. And Unleashed is going to actually push forward, so Dyszel's retreating with his Reaper tripods and his Seekers. but I think he could probably actually just push in here, and he'd probably be able to take out a decent amount. I mean, running away isn't really going to do him very much. And there goes the Buzzer Swarm, taking down all the infantry, and this is where I think Dyszel should turn straight around and go for Unleashed. Pitbulls have come into the front, but they just get absolutely mopped up, and absolutely nothing that Unleashed can do about that. And the Hex Pod is actually out, and we've rebuilt a portal, and we're going to be putting some Shock Troopers in there. If we take a look at the original Shock Troopers, they're actually just chilling around the spike. Really should be pushing up and trying to take out a Harvester or two. I mean, there's no good just absolutely sitting there. And it looks like Unleashed is taking out his whole force from his base, and he is moving across to the west side of the map, probably going to scout to see if Dyszel has actually expanded over here. And as you can see, Dyszel's got that teleport ability, so he can get rid of those Shock Troopers, and he's actually probably going to move up with the Eradicator Hexapod. Are we going to see some Corruptors come out to sort of heal that? No, so we're just going to have a plain old Eradicator Hexapod coming up. Not really the best idea. I mean, you want some Corruptors onto that to heal, and we're actually going to be moving forward with the drone platform I just saw. So, looks like Dyszel's going to be taking his second expansion, whereas Unleashed is already there. He's already got a refinery and a barracks up that expansion, so Unleashed is definitely ahead on the economy side of things, but this Eradicator Hexapod is absolutely cleaning everything up. Unleashed is smartly putting all his rocket squads into the buildings, and unfortunately, Dyszel doesn't actually have any buzzers in his force, so he would be able to just clean that up pretty easy if he had just had a couple of buzzers, but doesn't look like he's going to go for that. And this Eradicator, it goes down, so there's very, very nice work there from Unleashed, and only three Reaper tripods sitting there, and they're actually in a pretty bad position. The rockets are firing against them. One goes down, the Husk is remaining, and Unleashed, he should try and get an engineer onto that, or Dyszel, he's actually probably closer to that. He's already planted his drone platform, so he's probably going to be able to recapture that Husk if Unleashed does not destroy it. And if I was Unleashed, I would be turning around and destroying that, because you don't want Husks being captured by your opponent necessarily when they don't really need to be. I mean, it's fairly easy just to turn around and give one single command to shoot that, but his mind must be preoccupied with another thing. And we've actually got disintegrators coming out from Dyszel. Not the best idea, because Unleashed has got all these riflemen out, and he's actually got the AP ammo upgrade on there, so they just absolutely chew through any sort of infantry. I mean, look at that. They're actually killing the buzzers out of the buzzer hive before they even get there. So, pretty nice work. And we've got two badly damaged Reaper tripods here, but they're going to head back to the Warp Chasm to try and get repairs. And it looks like Dyszel is actually going to pump out another Hexapod. So he's going to be quite a nuisance, especially against the Steel Talons player. Some people just don't realize how hard it is to actually fight an Eradicator Hexapod against Steel Talons. I mean, pretty damn hard. And Unleashed's got two single Titans over here harassing this Harvester. They have gotten quite a bit of that down, and he might actually take this down. He's only got one remaining. It's only going to have to do another, what, 2 shots? So one, and it's going to go down with this shot here. So that's good work from Unleashed, but sort of poor work from Dyszel as well. He had the 2 Reaper tripods sitting right there, and I saw previously that another Harvester came down from these rockets here, but we've got buzzers coming across the field, and they're going to be able to clean up these rocketmen fairly easy. If we take a look at the expansion, it hasn't actually, no refineries have gone up at all, which is, I mean, not ideal, especially when Unleashed has 2 refineries up at his, or 3 refineries, sorry, up at his expansion. He's also producing some Orcas. They're going to be able to help clear out these Reaper tripods and the Eradicator Hexapod as well. But there's actually a Shard Walker here out for Dyszel, and Shard Walkers absolutely mow through any sort of air. I mean, absolutely anything. I think it's only about 3 or 4 shots to take down an Orca from one single shot going, whoa, what's this? Dyszel actually just sold his tier 3. That's probably not the best idea, so he's probably going to just absolutely pump out Seekers and Shard Walkers, and probably rely on that Hexapod to try and do all the work for him. And he hasn't even got an expansion up. And Unleashed, he's doing pretty well with sending out these, these just couple of unit squads. 2 Titans coming over to the east here. They would have been able to take out any Harvesters if there were any there, but they're going to run into a Hexapod and meet their timely demise. One will go down, the other one's going to go down fairly easily. That Hexapod doesn't actually have any garrisons at the moment, but there's one single Shock Trooper that's going to come up and jump in it. And that'll give it a little bit of firepower, but he really needs to get that completely full with, 3 of them, or maybe even Disintegrators in there. Disintegrators work pretty well in a Hexapod against a fairly tank-based army. And if we come over to the bottom at Dyszel's main base, there's a little tiny skirmish of troops coming